You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Catch every UFC pay-per-view live in full HD at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Harry Buffalo. Join the herd.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Join the Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
Hey, it's Hugh Hewitt, and when I want to know what's going on with the Cavs, the Browns, and the Tribe, I tune into Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
Good morning, good afternoon. I thought about cracking the mic and saying, good morning, Vietnam, because I can smell the napalm in the air from this past weekend, that's for sure, man. I get it. It was my birthday and all that, man, but Johnny did not have to throw that party, man. Let me just tell you, man. Went above board for a brother's birthday the other day. Welcome into the sport. I'm telling you that the rubble of this weekend, and not necessarily in the way that you think this is going to go. We got a lot of things to talk about. We're live. We're back on schedule. We're doing the thing here, and I'm another day older, another year older, feeling good, but not going to go the tact that some people may think here with the Browns organization as a whole. That being said, a whole ton of crap to get into from this weekend, man. I'll tell you what, I don't know, some people lost their minds, and it's not just with the Browns. Cavaliers, our buddies over there, not faring any better in the dysfunction category myself. We're going to get into some of that today. Obviously, a lot of Browns and NFL talk as the fallout of a season begins here today for the Browns. There'll be a lot more football to be played around the NFL for the next month, but for the Browns here, we now move into the off season, and we're going to start talking about all of that. Lost yesterday to the Ravens. I will say, I didn't expect the Browns to show up like they did yesterday, to be totally honest with you. I was, moderately proud. I mean, look, I'm not trying to sit here and effusively gush on about a loss by 10 points. You know what I mean? But the Browns could have lost, I should say, a lot worse, and had a lot of reasons to show up that way, and they didn't. They showed up with some pride. They showed up and played some football, and they gave the Ravens a run for it. Especially, man, the Ravens just played like they had no interest in being a playoff team at all for much of the game, but you got to credit some of that to the players that were out there for the Browns as well. We're going to talk about all of that. My man Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan, he's here with us today. He'll be with us less than 30 minutes from now. Cannot wait. Him and I talked a little bit this morning, and we're on the same page about a lot of things going on here around Cleveland and the Cleveland Browns. Dan Wismar back in the house after a week off for the holidays. Can't wait. Eddy Jansen from More Than a Fan Cleveland, beat writer, Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to talk Cavaliers too. All kinds of stuff swirling around there too. Man, talk about coaches and dysfunction. I don't know if you guys probably haven't even seen the headlines because it just Sports Center bleeped on my phone here as we were going on the air. The latest story swirling, the unattributed sources within the team. David Blatt not reaching the Cavaliers, and Tyronn Lue, a lot of people now gravitating towards him, and people are beginning to notice some of the things that we've talked about here on the show with certain players, including LeBron James, not listening in the huddle, not paying attention, getting advice off to the side of the huddles, last-minute little deals with Lou, and different things we've seen, a lot of things we've seen with those post-game press conferences where every time I mention it, somebody goes, J-Rock, you're just looking for something there where there's nothing there. And I'm like, well, he said this, and then LeBron said, no, I disagree with the coach. A lot of people don't do that in public. Very telling quote, and we're going to get into this much more later on. Very telling quote, though, in this story that came out this morning from LeBron the other day after the game when he was asked about the switch that the Cavaliers made to him primarily running the point and the ball going through him, and was asked, if David Blatt put that together, and LeBron point blank told the media, no, I'm past the point where I have to get permission to do things like that. And that's where we're at. LeBron James is past the point where he has to get permission to do things from his coach, and it's okay for him to play games in chill mode too, because the other day, that one got me. That one got me. I was kind of in chill mode. I mean, okay, that's cool. We're going to get into all of this here a little bit later on in the show. A debacle at the Q as the Pistons just wiped the floor with the Cavaliers. Whole Cavaliers team must have been in chill mode yesterday. Eddy Jansen's going to be with us. We're going to talk about that because I'm telling you, for all the it's a long season, for all the growth and room and all of that stuff, that's true. If you are not seeing the signs of problems, real problems, and the kinds that really have real not good consequences on the end of it, then you're fooling yourself. You're homering yourself right into something that you are not going to like come the end of this basketball season, because there are tenets of some bad things going on in the chemistry of this Cavaliers team. I get it. They've won 60% of their games. They play in the Eastern Conference. Let me remind you that. Yep, they've won 60% of their games. That being said, you want to ignore me? That's fine. But the Cavaliers had better not be ignoring the warning signs that are going on. We're going to talk about all of that with Eddy Jansen, as an injury to Anderson Varejao, to me, is going to exasperate some of that there. And by the way, you guys can hear still the remnants of that viral deal from me over the weekend here, but luckily no coughing going on, able to keep the thing rolling. And I had to miss Johnny's party the other night, but that's okay, man. Price to be paid for being back on the air today. Eddy Jansen, talking Cavaliers later on in the show. Dan Wismar, we're talking Browns. We're also going to talk Buckeyes and preview, of course, the game coming up this week. You got Alabama, first college football playoff semifinals, all of that. We're going to crack open the phone lines. We're going to talk Cavaliers. We're going to talk Browns, talk about the game yesterday and all the things that happened this weekend. Black Monday as we speak. Coaches getting their walking papers. Very glad that Jimmy Haslam right away clarified that at least is one thing that we will not have to worry about dealing with here this offseason, as both Pettine and Farmer will be staying in place. And we can talk about the good and the bad about that stuff as well. Let's do it. Let's talk about it all. Welcome into the Sports Fix. J-Rock, Jerry Myers, that's me, welcoming each and every one of you in another week here. Last couple of episodes of 2014 here. Bam, we're going to blow it into 2015 come the end of this week. By the way, real quick, speaking of another year, thanks to all of you guys. And I was amazed at how many, I'm telling you, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages over the weekend. Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes, the memes, the greeting cards, all of the stuff you guys sent to us over the weekend. Thank you. It's very, 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 very appreciated. Welcome in, Sports Fix. J-Rock doing the thing with you live across the Sports Fix radio network here. Perhaps that means you're enjoying the show on TuneIn and TuneIn's radio app worldwide. Maybe you're listening on Spreaker and Mixler and their respective digital and mobile applications. Perhaps you're enjoying the show live right on our home base, thesportsfix.net, one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. However you're doing it live. That is always, as she said, the best way to do it. All the way live, baby. For those of you as well, welcome in listening on digital delay 24/7 on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, all of the podcast formats, every way that you may, iTunes, however you enjoy, download, subscribe, listen, feed, all the different terminologies for the ways you get the show. Thank you guys so much for doing that and being a part of it with us here each and every day across the Sports Fix Radio Network, and be a part of it as I see the phones blowing now. So if you're on the phone and you're not hearing anything, it's because you're on hold. And of course that means that the people on hold are going to hang up because they're going to lose their minds because they are not hearing a return feed. But we've got calls blowing up. We want to hear from you. 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535. Hit us up if you can't get to the phones, if you can't get through, or if you just can't wait. Facebook and Twitter, best way to do it. Facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfixcle. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfixcle. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. I'm going to open up the phones here in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things, set the stage, obviously. As I said today, Black Monday around the NFL. By the way, for those of you that normally tune in on Mondays to hear John McMullen from the Sports Network, John is traditionally here every Monday on the show. John is going to be a part of the show on Friday and do a playoff preview with us here coming up this weekend. But he's not here today because he's doing radio hits literally all over, and it was one of those, hey, J-Rock, do you want to do a 10-minute hit? Because he's hitting them up around the country today. So instead, we're going to do our regular lengthy segment with John. We're just going to move him to the end of the week and do a little playoff preview. My favorite weekend coming up, wild card weekend and all of that. So I just figured that would be much better off than going with a little quickie, 8, 9, 10-minute segment with John here today. But the reason he's so busy, Black Monday, before we dive into the Browns and stuff, we're going to hit that here in just a minute. But around the NFL, got phone lines just blowing up. Guys, I'm going to start taking calls in just a moment. Sit tight, you guys. I've got a couple in the queue. The rest of you guys ringing in, I'm going to fire them off here in a moment. Black Monday, as it's being called here, coaches on the chopping blocks around. I got to go first with Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, moving on from San Francisco. All word and signs and everything point to him tomorrow becoming the next head coach for the University of Michigan. And I will say this, I forget whatever Michigan, that will definitely make for some fun next couple of seasons as far as OSU and Michigan and Herbs and Harbaugh and all of that. But I got to take a shot because they left it sitting right here. For those of you that follow us on Facebook, you probably know where I'm going because I posted this about an hour ago this morning. The Detroit Free Press, as they put out their headline this morning for the hiring of Harbaugh. All signs point to Harbaugh at UM, and if there's a big picture of head coach Harbaugh on the top of the Detroit Free Press wearing his Baltimore Ravens hat because they put the wrong Harbaugh on the headline on the Detroit Free Press. They put the wrong Harbaugh brother up there on the very headline of their big article today for Jim Harbaugh becoming the Michigan coach. They put John on the front cover. Amazing stuff. But yeah, that went down very much expected over the last few weeks. Tomorrow, I believe the press conference is being set up here for the announcement to be made live. We'll talk more about that here. Dan Wismar, curious to get his thoughts on Harbaugh replacing Brady Hoke. I do think that it will add some fire to that. Larry, you're right. I mean, I'm not trying to take a shot, but when you say things like, now you know why Detroit is bankrupt, I'm just saying somebody's job. I mean, you had one job, quality control person. Your quality control person at any business, their job is just to look at the final product, whether it's a book, a newspaper, a T-shirt, whatever it is, and check it for errors. It's like, just proofreading. It's the quality control. Have you ever gotten a pair of jeans and in the pocket you get that little sticker that says inspected by number 29 or whatever? That's quality control. That's the person that checks and makes sure that the button's button and the zipper's zip and it has 2 legs instead of 4. All the things that you expect when you buy a pair of jeans. Same thing there. Quality control is clearly one of the places affected by the budgetary concerns of urban newspapers in 2014 because they missed that one there. But you had to take a shot at it. There was no way. Sorry, guys. I mean, I don't always take the easy ones, but sometimes the fruit's hanging so low that even I got to take a bite at it there. But tomorrow, they'll make the announcement. We'll talk to Dan Wismar later on in the show about that. Also, very expected, some of the other firings going on around the NFL. Mark Trestman, and hey, that was a guy as a sleeper that we had mentioned when the Browns were doing their latest coaching search. And you know what? You saw